What's up, guys, and welcome back to the South American Challenge. We're in the lower bracket where Sad Voids are going to be going up against Union Gaming in a best of three. Winner gets to stay in the tournament, loser is out. So, should be pretty interesting here on HeflaTV HB1. We're going to be bringing you this best of three, the only BO3 of the day, but that's fine. I'm Mikelorus, going to be joined by Grandis. How are you doing, man?
Doing just fine. Both teams are running with a handful of stand-ins here, and as far as I can tell, these are the names that they go by. It's not anybody that I've actually seen play before, or at least on a consistent basis. So there might be some changes to team synergy, but all things considered, this should be a pretty even match and a pretty good best of three. Both teams want to stay in this tournament.
Yeah, definitely hoping for a good game, especially after having so many delays. If this game is just, 20-minute total of Stompfest, I'm going to be a little bit bummed out, but here's hoping that that doesn't happen. Even when you do have evenly matched teams, sometimes it just happens like that, but this is definitely not going to be one of those times. Sad Void's definitely taking their sweet time. That is not what I expected. If you gave me 50 guesses for the first bands, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have gotten that one.
No, I don't think so. Enchantress, although a hero that is played every once in a while, is a very rare pick and never in the first stage. I expect this to be Sad Voids getting some sort of intel by playing Union Gaming a bunch over the last couple of weeks. Really, Enchantress feels like a not ban, really.
Yeah, as you said, there are probably going to be lots of metagamey type picks, seeing as though these two teams probably do run into each other quite a bit. Hell, I wouldn't even be surprised if they shared stand-ins or something like that. But the Union Gaming band's looking pretty normal there. Troll, Shadow Fiend, and Sad Voids go ahead and grab the Vengeful Spirit first. So for Union Gaming, they have a whole bunch of powerful heroes at their disposal. They could go Sniper, Shaker, they could go Shadow Fiend, they could go for pretty much whatever they want. But yeah, I'm really interested to see if in a future game in this best of three, if Union Gaming are going to be picking up that Enchantress if it's not first banned.
Yeah, Union Gaming will first pick up the Slark for their team, and although it is a hero that sometimes does slip through to the second picking stage, especially in these South American teams, as well as Union Gaming in particular, they do like their Slark, so it's not out of the question that we see it in the first pick here.
Alright, it is going to force Sad Voids to draft a certain way, heavily prioritizing crowd control. Magic Missile is not really the tool that you want when you're trying to go up against the Slark. It's so easy to dodge by any way that Slark has, and if you're going to actually get hit by it, then you are probably going to be hit by an invisible Vengeful Spirit. Otherwise, there has to be some sort of starting silence or stun or something like that. So Sad Voids are going to look to pick up some more crowd control, maybe grab someone like a Storm Spirit for their mid lane, but if they're going to do something like that, then probably going to happen a little bit later.
Yeah, as far as their next pickup, if they want to just pick both of their supports off the bat, Lion's there, and I think that's probably one of the best heroes at dealing with the Slark. Instant disable with the Hex, or a Spike can hit him while he's inside the Shadow Dance, and Finger of Death is a wonderful amount of burst damage to bring down the Slark before he's able to get out of the fight with his ulti.
Or Union Gaming can grab the hero. It's an extremely powerful one, and the synergy just in lane with Slark and Lion is powerful enough so that you could get a couple of kills early on, and then once you get one or two, then the Lion can go off and do his own thing and just do whatever the hell he wants, while the Slark is going to have the lane on lockdown. So Union Gaming could have gone for that, instead deciding to grab the Shaker. Can do something similar, maybe not as aggressively so, but when Slark is there to do the damage, really all you need is control, and it doesn't really get much better than a fissure block.
No, definitely not. There's very few heroes that can actually deal with getting fissure blocked. One of them could be a Batrider. If you have the Firefly, can't get over that, and that would also be a pretty decent pickup for Sad Voids. Although actually lassoing the Slark is pretty difficult. You already have the Venge on your side, and although fissure can be disruptive, it's still a really good initiator.
It is pretty hard if the Slark doesn't see the Batrider coming to actually pact out of the lasso. If you do get the jump, and most of the time you're hoping to get the jump, then Batrider seems like a pretty reasonable pick here for Sad Voids. It'll make it probably up to the top lane for Sad Voids. Just send the Batrider up towards top, and up against Slark, Shaker, maybe +1. The Batrider is not going to have the most fun in the world, but a fast Blink Dagger can kill off, well, pretty much anyone, as we've seen in numerous Dota games, but applying pressure to the Slark is super important. If you smoke up with Vengeful Spirit and whatever other support hero Sad Voids are going to decide to get, and then go for that Slark, it's probably going to be a kill, especially if they grab someone like a Skywrath Mage, who is inherently very good against Slark, but also is able to dump that Mystic Flare into the lasso target.
Yeah, for now, Sad Voids have eaten through the entirety of their reserve time, or at least the vast majority. 15 seconds is what remains, and they'll settle on that Batrider for their team. As we've kind of already talked about, I think it's a fair enough pick. Although there's still a lot of really top-tier heroes left inside the pool, Batrider is completely reasonable.
Yeah, this is Batrider into a Shaker, and that's not
10
super
seconds
ideal.
remaining.
It's, not your dream scenario right there, but you already have the Vengeful
Team
Spirit, so you might as
ban.
well grab some initiation. This is initiation that pretty sure Union Gaming are going to be wanting to grab up themselves, though Scarith Mage is going to take the first ban from Sad Voids.
Radiant team
I wouldn't be
ban.
surprised to see Union Gaming go for someone like a Clockwork. He's been seeing a lot more play, and, well, it's a pretty good response to the Batrider if you're able to be there in time with the hookshot.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty good for their team. As far as the last couple bans
10
from either
seconds
side,
remaining.
we'll see a Rubik coming out from Sad Voids, following up
Dire
that
team
Skyrath
ban.
Mage ban. They're really scared of these instant disables coming out from Union Gaming, and following up with the Earthshaker and Slark. Maybe they're going to pick up something along the lines of the Storm Spirit that you alluded to earlier on in the draft.
I really wouldn't be surprised. They are leaving that
10
Lion in,
seconds
however, and
remaining.
he is pretty much the king of those single target
5
disables, so
seconds
I wouldn't
remaining.
really be too surprised if Union Gaming decide to pick that one up right here. Will it stop Sad Voids from
Reserve
going
time.
for that super mobile hero? Probably not, but yeah, as dangerous as
Dire
Rubik and
team
Scarith Mage are, Lion is probably just a notch above them, at least just a little bit, so if Union Gaming wants CC, then they're going to have it. Otherwise, Disruptor is the pick.
Radiant
It's
team
pretty good against Batrider, but it's also pretty good just preemptively.
Yeah, it's not a bad hero at all. These two supports coming out from Union Gaming have a very scary mid-game team fight. If they can land both of their ultis, it can be disastrous for the enemy team. Although Blink Dagger isn't going to be coming out the fastest on the Earthshaker, if they give him the farm priority, it could be coming up at a reasonable time. This does leave the line in the pool that we talked a lot about earlier in the draft, and I think that Sad Voids, if they want to
10
pick up their other
seconds
support, that's
remaining.
probably the best option.
Yeah, it's a very aggressive roaming combo
5
with the Vengeful
seconds
Spirit,
remaining.
so much crowd control, and crowd control that's very difficult to dodge, and that spike also does
Reserve
hit the
time.
Shadow Dancing Slark, so it's not exactly
10
ideal, but
seconds
if push
remaining.
comes to shove, they will have an answer in that regard. They don't have that much time to make their
5
decision either.
seconds
Jakiro for
remaining.
Sad Voids.
Dire team
Well, that's
pick.
definitely not what we expected, but if they want to play this game aggressively, then Jakiro's the hero to do it. I guess Batrider and Vengeful Spirit are template heroes enough so that they can still go into any direction.
Yeah, more or less. Jakiro does offer a lot more damage into the Slark while he's Shadow Dance, but I'm not sure if that's enough in and of itself to warrant the pick. I think it is that Sad Voids really want to just end this game early, or at the very least, fight early and often.
10 seconds
We'll have to see if
remaining.
this Jakiro ends up in a core or a support role. It's decent enough to see it as a support with the Vengeful Spirit open up into the Magic Missile, into the Ice Path. As far as getting kills early on, that's a pretty good combination.
Reserve time.
Yeah, I'm liking it a little bit more as a core here, however, just because
Radiant
Jakiro is
team
not exactly the hardest counter towards Slark, so you should probably just use the Jakiro for his nuking power, which is pretty devastating even if you are going to be a Slark in the game. Union Gaming decided to pick up their Phoenix, going to be their offlane hero, so Clockwork probably not going to see any play in this particular game. If the Sad Voids want to lane this Jakiro as support, and if they want to lane a defensive tri-lane, then Liquid Fire is pretty darn good versus Phoenix.
10
Jakiro,
seconds
just by himself, will be
remaining.
able to zone the Phoenix out pretty decently.
Yeah, it's not going to be the easiest to kill off the Phoenix, as they don't have a great way to cancel out that Icarus dive. Magic Missile and Ice Path are a little bit slow incoming, but yeah, just with the raw zoning power, it should be enough. Tinker is actually going to need to pick up 4 Sad Voids. At this point, Union Gaming don't have the greatest of heroes to actually catch the Tinker out while he's still pushing. Disruptor Glimpse is okay, as is a Blinking Slark and as is a Phoenix, but nothing stellar.
10 seconds
They
remaining.
probably can get away with this. The Disruptor and Earthshaker, although they're very good at
5
zoning out an
seconds
offlaner and
remaining.
playing defensively, their ability to just roam and kill inside the mid lane is pretty limited.
Yeah, but Union Gaming, they're still
Radiant
lacking
team
what I
back.
assume to be their mid lane hero, and it's not too late for them to grab someone like a Storm Spirit, who is very oftenly seen as direct counters to Tinker. If you ever played a pub as Tinker in your life, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, but if Union Gaming want to grab that, get some initiation, well, okay, there you go. Not going to be banned out. They're not going to be picked up, rather. It will be banned out, so that's pretty much a given. Like, if they leave that in the pool, then they're just going to be completely screwed over by the Storm Spirit, but Tinker and Jakiro, I guess it will allow them to make some pushes happen, though Liquid Fire, as strong as it isn't really going to be able to do it just by yourself. You kind of need a little bit of something other than that if you're going to be playing a support Jakiro.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. Sad Void's a pretty interesting draft, all things considered. Yeah, Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have one direction that it's going in. You have some nice pickup potential coming out from the from the Batrider. Jakiro offers that early push and nuking damage that we were talking about earlier on, and Tinker is a nuisance to the enemy team. But it kind of feels like that's what their lineup is. It's just annoying, a combination of really good heroes.
Yeah, it's a pile of heroes, and that may or may not work out. For Union Gaming, they have a little bit more of a direct strategy going on. Like, they have the direct counters to the Batrider, or at least as direct as they can get. They have those counters, they have a Slark to fall back on, and as you said before, Union Gaming are quite large fans of that Slark, but they also have a lot of team fight. Like, the Supernova Static Storm is pretty devastating when you mix it up with any sort of stunning action, and if they catch anyone in a Kinetic Field Static Storm with that Supernova, it's just over for that hero. Like, I don't care what they have, unless Vengeful Spirit is going to be in the perfect position, they are just going to be screwed over, and especially when you add a Sonic Wave there. So Union Gaming have a ton of team fight, and they also have a decent amount of right click to back it up. So gotta say, I really like where Union Gaming are heading with this draft, whereas for Sad Voids, I'm not entirely sure what they want to be doing in this game.
Yeah, Union Gaming's lineup for sure is a lot more focused and a lot more clear what they want to be doing at every point of this game. I do like this Queen of Pain last coming out from Union Gaming. As far as heroes that can catch out of Tinker while he's pushing, Queen of Pain's probably one of the better mid laners that's in the pool in order to accomplish that. And, well, Sad Voids will last pick up the Anti-Mage. Again, it's a hero that's not really going to be contributing much, although a Tinker Anti-Mage late game is definitely something to be feared. The question is whether Sad Voids will be able to access that in any significant way.
Yeah, well, if the Tinker gets off to a not terrible start, then the Anti-Mage will be fine. If the Tinker gets completely demolished, which is very possible, given the likelihood of rotations from the Earthshaker and the Disruptor both. So if the Tinker gets off to one of those really, really bad starts, then the Anti-Mage is just going to be an irrelevant hero. Sad Voids, they're relying so much on this Tinker in order to buy enough space and turtle out the game for the Anti-Mage to get into just a out-of-control state. And if it works, great. I mean, you could tally that one for the win column, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be a super easy strategy to pull off. Whereas for Union Gaming, even if they're super far behind, they could still win team fights with the amount of AoE they have.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest issue. Just by the way these heroes function for Sad Voids, they kind of want to be ahead. Well, to introduce their side, Zap Brannigan's the one who's going to be playing that Tinker, presumably going mid. Gex going to be handling the Anti-Mage, Jakiro played by Dumpster, Gex is on the Vengeful Spirit, and last but not least, our Batrider played by Karuba.
And for the UG side, Queen of Pain is going to be played by Paramore, Benyez is going to be on the Slark, Z-Talk is going to be on the Earthshaker, with Pax playing the Phoenix and Nightmare following up the rear as the Disruptor. They're going to smoke rather early. Unfortunately, Queen of Pain stopped moving. It doesn't look like it's going to be super relevant, however, because all of Sad Voids are going in the complete opposite direction. I really like UG's decision to go for this aggressive play, but unfortunately for them, not going to do anything.
Yeah, more or less. They'll have the ability to drop down a couple of wards. They'll decide to block off the medium pole camp and deny pull-throughs coming out from Sad Voids, and maybe they'll put a block into one of the large camps to stop the Batrider from guaranteed getting his farm. They'll stick around inside the enemy woods, and maybe they can still catch somebody out as long as they get a little too comfortable. Gix is going to go all the way down to the bottom lane, and maybe it's the Anti-Mage to get caught out, but I think the best case scenario is that they force him to go Blink level 1.
Yeah, that's also pretty good. They definitely have enough kill potential to kill off someone like an AM, but that's only if Gix is going to wander in this area. And it looks like even if he does go right now, he won't really be doing too much. Taking a look at the ward situation here for UG, this Observe ward does block this, I guess, top pull camp. Then they actually place the sentry to block pretty much everything. So the UG side have tried their best to make sure that this Tinker is going to have, and the Batrider, are going to have as slow a time as possible. And taking a quick look at the Sad Voids heroes, the support heroes rather, they don't have any sentries at all. So these camps are going to stay blocked until they time out regularly. They're going to run to the Shaker in the meantime, but it's just a Venge Jakiro level 1. They can't really do that much.
Yeah, especially since Jakiro went for Liquid Fire at that level 1 mark in order to harass a little bit more. It's just not going to be a potential kill. Earthshaker and Disruptor is sitting behind the Queen of Pain to start things off, and the Venge sitting behind the Tinker in a similar manner. But even so, Zep Brannigan's not having a great time, and that's kind of to be expected.
Mid lane, they're just dancing around. Zap Brannigan getting hit with that fissure. Laser, though, is going to brick wall that Queen of Pain from any further aggression. Can't really kill him off with right clicks if you can't hit him now, can you? But that's the threat that I was talking about earlier. A fissure into a blink into a Scream of Pain. Once that Scream of Pain is like level 2 or something like that, that's really all you need in order to get those kills. Similarly up on top lane, Karuba, he just got pounced and thunderstruck, and just a couple of right clicks. All of a sudden, he's near death. The pressure is intense, and over towards mid, Zap Brenning's gonna hit with another Shadow Strike. That will be first blood. Drawn by the creeps, but UG are the ones to take it, and I think that's the bottle for the Queen of Pain. It is. This is such a dangerous lane for a Tinker, and this is part of the reason why we see so few Tinkers nowadays.
Yeah, he's just not really good against the current meta heroes, and Gexos, even though Venge can offer a magic missile, that's about all you can offer. It's not as good as a defensive Earthshaker. Zitok going to be spotted out by Howl of Terror coming out from the Venge. He's going to eat through tangos and then completely juke the Venge. Okay. Looks like the Earthshaker's out home free, although the Tinker is coming in from the sidelines. Actually, killing off this Earthshaker might not be a possibility. He'll eat the magic missile. Rockets, they have a laser as well. Zitok running towards the north. This is a lot of time wasted by the Tinker if they don't get this kill. It looks like they are going to, though. Laser, one right click. Zitok's going to survive. They just need a little bit more damage, and they don't have it. Best case scenario, Gexos gets this kill, but he's body blocked out by the Disruptor, and now the Disruptor is in a position to where Gexos could end up dying. Kinetic Field is going to be on the point. And, well, with the right clicks, this is going to be Venge giving up her life, and Tinker completely wasting his time. Actually gets killed off by the Queen of Pain. She comes in from the sidelines. Blink out, Queen of Pain going to survive as Bat Rider's a little too slow on the uptake, 0-3, as Union Gaming get off to a really fast start.
Yeah, that was like the weakest tree juke of all time from the Earthshaker, but it didn't even matter. Even though he was up against a hero with boots, even though the Tinker was packing both of his useful skills at this stage of the game, the laser as well as that missile, it just wasn't enough to kill off the cow. And as you said, they're wasting so much time actually chasing down someone that they didn't even kill, which is bad in and of itself, but then getting killed following is just absolutely disastrous. This Queen of Pain, now 101, is all the way at level 4, and Tinker's only at level 3, so the differential there isn't too vast, but Paramore's ability to lock down this lane just by herself is going to increase by a whole lot. If Gexos is not here as this Vengeful Spirit, then the Shadow Strike level 2 is going to destroy the Tinker, and Tinker can only laser defensively to keep himself alive. Anything else, and he's probably just going to die.
The silver lining in this Dark Cloud for Sad Voids is that the Phoenix is getting zoned out and they have free farm on their anti-main, just they probably should. Fissure down towards bottom, not going to block off the Jakiro. Although Dumpster's going to take a decent amount of damage, this shouldn't be a kill, and in fact the Phoenix might have bitten off a little bit more than he should be chewing, going to be able to Icarus dive over the trees and buy himself some extra space.
Phoenix isn't really a super high level at this point, only 2 level 1 skills, definitely not enough to kill off the likes of Jakiro, one of the tankier heroes in the game, let alone intelligence heroes, and trying to go for him, though very nice if you do get the kill, is just, again, not worth their time. So that being said, the anti-mage is also getting farm. Gix is now working with a full-on defensive tri-lane. Unfortunately, these heroes, well, I guess now they can get some pulls going, but even though this is very nice for anti-mage, they have to worry about Bat, who's once again been forced out of the lane, no regeneration for him, and they have to worry about mid lane, where Queen of Pain is threatening Zap Brannigan so much. Tinker, he has to go for this battle build, or else he wouldn't be able to stand in this lane, but Queen of Pain, once she gets one more level, can 100-0 this Tinker very easily.
Yeah, definitely. Once that level 6 comes out, it's very hard to beat Zap Brannigan if it wasn't already. The Earthshaker is also camping up here, although they do have vision of this Earthshaker rotation. I don't think that really helps them much at all. The Vengeful Spirit is going to come up through the north as well. Maybe they can kill him off, this time with the level 2 in the rocket and the laser. Earthshaker sticks around too much. He's going to walk into the trees. Now Vengeful Spirit knows exactly where he is. I think Zitok's just dead here. Magic Missile to open things up. Tinker coming in from the sidelines with rockets. They bring in the Bat Rider too. Gexos going to take a lot of damage with the Fissure. It's not going to be enough. Gexos is going to survive. Now they turn around onto the Earthshaker. Zitok is going to have 3 stacks of Napalm and does end up dying, whereas the Queen of Pain is able to blink out and use that regeneration and potentially looking for the wraparound. Finds the Bat Rider. Will blink even further. Can't clean off that Venge kill. A little too late incoming, but now with the Poison Strike as well as one Scream Crew going to be dropped very low as the Bat Rider is forced completely back. In fact, this might be a fatality, and it looks like it is, although it might cost Paramore her life. Blink away is off of cooldown. Can she turn to get it off? No. With 4 stacks of the Napalm, that's going to be the end of her life, and Bat Rider even survives on 8 HP.
That was really weird. She used the stick, and then I thought she was going to blink out. I was looking at the cooldown. I thought she was going to survive for sure if she just used that blink spell, but she decided to try to man fight and be a little bit greedy. Could have gotten away for enough time to bottle it up, and yeah, you kind of don't want to leave that situation empty-handed. If you're in a situation where you're going to die otherwise, then, well, you tell me which one's the better one. Paramore going for a really aggressive play and just didn't work out for the Queen of Pain, yet the threat still stands. in this mid lane, it's now very much so lessened, as Sad Voids do bring in the Batrider Cavalry, and really no one expects the Batrider level 4 to be rotating anywhere, but having a couple of stacks of that Napalm proved invaluable.
Yeah, definitely. Zap Brannigan is actually going to fully commit to the battle build on this Tinker. 3 points in the laser and 2 points up in the rocket. This might just be a 4-4-0 Tinker, although I don't think it's the right choice. I think just going for the 2-2 and then back off into the March of the Machines is probably a little bit better. We'll just have to keep an eye on it and see how it pans out throughout the rest of this game. Might catch Union Gaming off guard.
Yeah, it is going to at least keep Paramore a little bit further back. If you know that the enemy is going for this heavy nuking build, then you're going to be less inclined as a Queen of Pain, or as anyone really, to actually make that blink in. Of course, Icarus dive in or pounce in or something like that. So just knowing that this Tinker has a lot of instant burst damage is going to be threatening enough, and it's not exactly what you want to be relying on in order to keep yourself alive, but again, desperate times call for desperate measures. This build will keep him a little bit safer because it will passively pressure UG back, but this is going to be hurting his farm down the line, because once he does get the boost of travels, if it does come soon, it's not really going to be that useful.
The Batrider's backed off into the jungle, and those Sentry Wards have expired, so Karuba's still getting a decent chunk of farm out of this lane. Not to say that the Phoenix is too sad either, since the supports have been spending so much time inside mid. The Phoenix has found herself a level 5, which is on par with the Batrider, and honestly better than she could have had if the Jakiro and Venge were sitting more down towards bottom.
Well, before we were talking about how the Anti-Mage was getting a lot of farm, Benyez on the Slark is getting an insane amount of farm. Now in a 1v0 lane, he really doesn't need any supports with him because there's no one up against him in lane, so he's just going to go straight for the Hand of Midas. Unfortunately, he bought Elven Skin instead of Gloves of Haste. Oh, that's not right. Bro, you have a Hand of Midas recipe incoming. Benyez might have just messed up his build just a little bit, but you know what? He'll get there eventually. Eventually is going to be the time with which they get there. Over towards mid, they're going to jump in towards the Queen of Pain. Fissure is going to give her enough time to blink out, but yeah, this Slark is getting 100% uncontested farm, and if he decides to go for a Shadow Blade or Blink Dagger, he can really make Sad Voids regret leaving him up there.
Yeah. Even though purchasing up the full PTs is going to delay his Hand of Midas probably by like 30 seconds or so, I don't think it really matters much in the grand scheme of things. Disruptor and Earthshaker are inside the mid lane. I believe they've been spotted out, or at the very least they think that they're coming up here. Venge is pinging like mad over inside this mid area as he talked back up in the high ground that he loves so very, very much. But actually killing off this Tinker is pretty difficult unless they can get in range for a Fissure, and with the way that Zap Brannigan's positioning himself, it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
He's positioning himself in this way out of necessity. You could look at the Observer wards for the Radiant side, and they're super defensive. It's necessary to keep this Tinker alive, but that just means that the Queen of Pain and, well, I guess all of UG will have pretty much full access to all the runes, so at a certain point, a good rune is going to spawn, and then UG are going to find another opportunity. Speaking of, up towards top, Gexos is going to dodge the Scream of Pain, it seems. So that's a level 3 skill, not doing anything. Even with the double damage rune, not enough chasing power there. But UG up towards top, they have brought down the first tier 1 tower of the game, and they're still doing fine on bottom and on mid. So for Sad Voids, I just don't know if this Tinker is going to be doing anything. With the battle build like this, you want to be farming heads pretty much 24/7, but it doesn't seem like Tinker is going to get much action if he's always positioned in these trees.
Yeah, apologies, I thought I muted my mic, but apparently not. Either way, they'll jump in mid. Zap Brannigan needs the full barrage of burst coming out from Paramore, and there will be the Sonic Wave finishing off the Tinker's life. It's going to be his head that ends up getting farmed, and everybody should make it out alive.
Yeah, unfortunately, Karuba not with enough mana or health to really try to get this Queen of Pain killed. Also, with 2100 gold, probably not even going to bother, seeing as though he's so close to his blink. That is an item that is going to help Sad Voids to get something going in this game, because their Tinker desperately needs the help. Anti-Mage needs a lot more time and space to farm. Currently not under any pressure. In fact, he's going to go aggressive onto the Phoenix for right now, but this is like step 1 for the Sad Void side. Get a Blink Dagger on the Batrider, and then try to pull someone into the laser rocket to try to get some kills. It's not exactly the easiest combo to pull off, like it's no Mystic Flare lasso, but hey, you work with what you can get. Queen of Pain, though, might find the Batrider first. She will just book it out of there with her haste rune, and there's no way for them to catch that.
No, definitely not. Paramore is going to keep herself alive. Ideally, it would be that Queen of Pain that ends up getting lassoed with this first gank coming out from Karuba. It's not unexpected that the Batrider gets this Blink Dagger since he has been off the map and farming woods for so long. Let's see what's going to end up being on. Sad Voids are incredibly clumped up in mid. The only hero that's not involved is the Anti-Mage. Phoenix coming in from the sidelines, going to bump into everybody. Magic Missile going to follow the Supernova. Well, in the end, it is going to be a Supernova to get out of there. With the burn damage onto the Tinker, he might end up taking down to this. This Disruptor is not going to have enough. He's going to survive on 90 HP or so. Vengeful Spirit ends up dying to the Jakiro. Nightmare trying to run away from the Batrider. Batrider going to continue to stack to the Napalm as Disruptor makes it out towards the north. Is on the backlines. Queen of Pain trying to go for this Tinker and Jakiro. She does not have an ultimate for 40 seconds. Denied as that Renegades going to fail. Jakiro is going to end up giving Queen of Pain a double kill. Disruptor dies in the meantime towards the north of this fight, and now Paramore is in a bit of a pickle here. Gets lasted up by the Batrider under the tier 2 tower. She does have a blink, however, going to buy herself enough space. The Earthshaker is also going to survive, and in the meantime, tier 1 tower has fallen. Bentaz is going to end up joining the fray too, but doesn't really contribute much of anything. 7-3 is going to be the kill score after everything settles.
And the clumped up nature of Sad Boys dissipated really quickly once the Phoenix came in there, but even though the Supernova, it didn't really do exactly what you want a Supernova to do, it did enough. It dispersed Sad Voids, and then once that happens, Queen of Pain is free to just pick everyone else apart, and Sad Voids never really got a real fight going there the entire time. It was just them on the run, making really scrappy engagements, and that's fine sometimes, but when you're in a position like this, you really need to get a couple more kills on the board than they have. And I think they only killed off Disruptor, is that right? Like, Batrider killed off Disruptor, and yeah, I think that's it. This is also supposed to be the time where Batrider is supposed to be making the first jump, but UG, they now know that the Batrider has his Blink Dagger, and the first uses of Blink, I guess you could say, gave Batrider a kill, but it was definitely not a good trade for the Sad Void side. UG win that team fight, and even though they bring the Slark over there, he's still just AFK farming in this game, faster than the Anti-Mage.
Yeah, I mean, he really didn't lose anything to poke his head over towards that tier 2 tower mid. He'd already cleared up the creep wave up top before doing so, and probably missed 2 creeps because of it. The Anti-Mage is farming, and that might be an issue for Union Gaming. They probably should do something about it eventually, but for now, Gix just isn't in a situation where he can contribute. Although he's getting closer and closer towards his Battle Fury, pretty much only needs the Claymore before he has it all the way completed. He's going to need a lot more than that to actually contribute inside these fights.
And once he does get, enough items so that he feels comfortable in going in, he'll be facing down a Static Storm. Queen of Pain will probably have her Orchid completed. That's just way too many tools for the Anti-Mage to sit comfortably in those fights without having first picked up Manta Style. They're going to jump for Zap Brannigan. Magic Missile going to hold that Paramore a little while longer. Laser won't quite get the kill, and then Queen of Pain is going to blink straight out of there. It looks like she will be A-okay. There is a Batrider kind of in the area, but not close enough. In the meantime, they're going to find Gix with the Disruptor Phoenix combination. Static Storm Kinetic Field will catch Gix. However, the damage output really isn't that high here. He will have a quick blink out glimpse. Not quite in time. They do get a little bit of vision, but just not enough. Here comes the support from the Sad Void side. Batrider up in the air. They're instead going to decide to go for the Shaker, who is off to the side. Will unleash an Echo Slam because he was dead anyway. Supports are coming right back in. Gexo's going to take quite a bit of damage. They use the lasso onto that Phoenix. Anti-Mage is going to re-blink in, forcing out the Supernova, but they have more than enough to kill off this egg, and they will do just that. Now the Disruptor on the run. If you're going to be taking a fight like this as UG, you really need your Queen of Pain here, or else you're just going to get cleaned up, and it might be another kill. Mana Void should do it right about now. Gix will pop that ultimate and will kill off the Disruptor, making it 3-0 in favor of Sad Voids.
And a much needed fight for them too. A really awkward engagement coming out from Union Gaming. Still, their Tinker isn't really doing anything though. Currently less net worth than the Earthshaker, and really miles away from getting those boots of travel up. There really isn't much that you can do about this, however, when you go for this battle build. Unless you're getting kills, you're not farming. 0-5 and 2 Zap Brannigan is far from being in a situation where he'd be happy about it. Sad Voids, however, after getting that double kill on their Anti-Mage, are going to be sitting at almost Battle Fury Gold. So eventually he might get to a point where he can fight Union Gaming, and if he's left completely alone inside the fights, can do a lot. I'd like to see Benyaz start rotating with the Blink Dagger up now. Slark should start fighting.
Yeah, it's the item that pretty sure UG as a whole are waiting for. That and the Orchid, which I want to say Paramore wasn't involved in that little bit of a skirmish because he was busy farming up that item, and he is very, very close to it. So adding 2 heroes, 2 of the more powerful damage-dealing heroes from UG into that equation is going to mean that, first of all, Sad Voids are going to struggle to find another 3-0 engagement. And second of all, it's probably going to be just a whole bunch of kills. They are going to run into Nightmare, however. Lassoing the Disruptor, missiles coming in, and Nightmare should be dying here. He's going to pop the Static Storm, which will save him for a little while longer. Not long enough. Here comes Benyaz, however, going to get his pounce onto the Batrider, do quite a bit of damage. He is in the Shadow Dance right now, but he will kill off one. Here comes Paramore to help out for the second, but it won't be in time to save the Slark. She'll throw the Sonic Wave, kill off Dumpster with the Zap Brannigan. Fissure also connecting. They might kill off this Tinker in the end. If they have more, and they do with the blink, one more right click's all they need is a double for Paramore. They end up giving away their Slark. Obviously less than ideal for UG, but it's still a 2-for-3 trade, and they're still keeping this Tinker down.
Yeah, it's acceptable. Honestly, I don't think the Slark was really necessary through all of that. I think Union Gaming had it pretty much on lockdown. But in the end, it's still going to be alright for them. The Anti-Mage has managed to farm himself up his Battle Fury, or at least the gold to get it whenever he flies that out. But there's your Orchid up for Queen of Pain, and with no Manta Style in the near future for the AM, pretty much everybody on the Sad Void side needs to be scared of this item.
And Gix was spotted out by a Dire Observer, I believe. He might just blink right across into the Shaker's hands, or he might go into the lane. Either way he goes, he's going to be spotted, and he is going to be facing down some sort of blink disabling tool. Whether it's an Orchid, a Fissure, or a Static Storm doesn't really matter. They are pacing back and forth. Paramore is threatening jumping on someone, but this Orchid is revealed from the Queen of Pain, so Sad Voids will be a little bit more prepared for it. But all this time where everyone's just jostling back and forth for positioning, it means Benyaz is in his own jungle farming.
Yeah, and he's doing a pretty good job of that. DD Ruin going to spawn up towards top. I'm not sure who's going to pick this up. I'd expect Queen of Pain. With it, Paramore can pretty much kill anybody, even without having the Sonic Wave available. I think that Anti-Mage is probably going to be your prime target. With the blink in from the Slark as well as a blink in from the Quap, it's pretty much an instant kill.
Yeah, Anti-Mage really doesn't have any way of getting around that. They are still positioning themselves pretty aggressively down towards bottom. Phoenix is level 9, and he will be lassoed. Has a Supernova and might have to use it out of desperation. Chain Stun is going to be there. Payox is going to go down without any sort of response from his team. A little bit too much damage there, and Phoenix a little bit too fragile to deal with a situation like that. So it's a nice kill for Sad Voids, and they need to be getting these kills pretty much whenever they can, and that means whenever Lasso is up. If they keep getting these kills every 70 seconds, then Anti-Mage is going to have the entire map to farm off of.
Pretty much. The Batrider has been doing a good job this game, 5-1 and 4. Now with the Blink and Force Staff, pretty much everything you could want on a Batrider at this point in the game. I think the biggest issue is that Zabrandon still is doing nothing with any space that he's gotten, and really that's not that much. This Tinker Pick's pretty much dead in the water. Up towards top, Blink away from the AM is going to keep him safe from the Slark, although he does lose quite a lot of stats because of it. It's not really going to be heartbreaking. Queen of Pain has popped a double damage rune, but hasn't found anybody yet to blow her load onto. She'll instead just farm up mid. Right now, Union Gaming are controlling the map decently well.
And they're also looking for an opportunity to go down towards the bottom lane. They see Dumpster. They're going to dive in with the Phoenix. Gexos is here. Payox taking quite a bit of damage, but has enough time to Supernova, and he will do just that with the Static Storm and the Kinetic Field. Dumpster is going to get stunned by this at the very least. He will go down. They also take down the Queen of Pain, however, in trade at the same time. It will be a 2-for-2 across the map. Nightmare will be able to escape. Gexos not with enough chasing power just by himself. Batrider coming in a little bit too late, however. I have no idea what happened to the Queen of Pain Anti-Mage trade, but I'm pretty sure UG are going to be happy with that. Anti-Mage is slowly becoming the most problematic hero for UG side. They're going to teleport the Slark down towards bottom, and he will make a jump in towards Karuba. Kinetic Field already setting that one up, and Karuba is now doomed to fall. That'll be one kill for UG. They see Gexos, and they're going to glimpse him right back into the Slark and Shaker, the ultimate, just for good measure. And then that's going to make it 4-for-2 after all is said and done. Even Benyaz getting a little bit of blood on his hands. But UG, they take a better numeric trade, and they're also probably going to get a tower after that.
Yeah, although I wasn't watching it, I can only assume that the Queen of Pain dove to kill that Anti-Mage and ends up dying with no lasso. I think that's the only way that that actually goes down. But yeah, even though it's a little bit awkward to see the Echo Slam used there, I think that's pretty much worth it for the Earthshaker. He got both of those kills, and now after that, and after this Tier 1 tower going down, I think Zitak is actually going to have his Blink Dagger up sub 20 minutes, or at 20 minutes at the latest. Oh, up towards top, Gix, he gets the Mana Void off onto the Queen of Pain. That's a man fight that you do not win.
And I think with the regeneration, yeah, the Anti-Mage is going to be A-okay. Queen of Pain, unfortunately, made the decision to blink into the Anti-Mage, dumped her entire payload, and it just wasn't enough to kill him off with that Soul Burn. They're going to run into a whole bunch of enemies down towards the bottom jungle. Fissure is going to keep the Disruptor safe for a little while longer. Maybe he can get a Static Storm off, and he will do so onto 2 heroes. He's still taking a lot of damage in the Firefly, but he will be going down at the end. Not for free, though. Venge is the trade. Dumpster being chased down by a Phoenix, shooting down that Solar Beam. Not with enough damage output right now. They have another Fissure. They will connect it onto Karuba. Benyaz going to make the blink in. Pounce forward. Pack going to connect. Karuba going to die. Now Benyaz has another kill on his hands potentially as he goes straight for Dumpster. He's going to pack up yet again. Dumpster playing Ring Around the Rosie, but this is not a game you want to play up against a Slark. He will beat you every single time. It's going to be a 1-for-3 down towards bottom. Gix going to arrive to this party Fortunately for him, the Shaker doesn't quite yet have his Blink Dagger on his person, so he's not going to be in any danger right now, but it's still Benyaz getting more blood on his hands, and right now he's damn close to his Eye of Scotty.
Yeah, and that's really scary too for Sad Voids. This Slark loves such long, drawn-out fights, and Sad Voids, their damage at this point is pretty lackluster, especially if the Tinker is not there, and since he only picked up his Boots of Travel, Zap Brannigan's going to, or had a hard time actually joining these fights. This is probably the saddest Tinker I've seen, at least in recent memory, but really unfortunate for Sad Void's draft, all things considered. They would much rather have a different hero now.
Yeah, and the Tinker, even though he now does have his Boots of Travel, is still facing down a Blinking Slark and a Blinking Queen of Pain and a Blinking Shaker. It is possible for a Tinker to recover from this type of situation because one March of the Machines, you get an entire creep wave's worth of gold, maybe a little bit of experience there as well, and suddenly you're flash farming like an absolute boss. But that only happens if you survive every single time, and I don't really see that happening with the items that UG have right now. So this Tinker, though he is going to have the potential, in theory, to recover, is going to really struggle to actually recover in this game, especially when UG are grouped up as 4. They're going to see the Firefly trail. They will catch Karuba up on the high ground. He's going to get a 4-staff down, though, and a blink out, but UG, you can tell by their positioning, they want blood. Whoever they find, they're going to jump on. They're going to run into Gexos right now. Orchid is there with the burst combo, Queen of Pain. Gexos is going to die. Sonic waving through to Gix as well, but I don't even think they knew that the Anti-Mage was there. They just wanted to grab the Venge kill. Blink forward, and Z-Talk can look for a fissure. He will land on Karuba, trying to cancel off that Blink Dagger as best he can. Won't really do that much. Echo Slam not going to do anything either. Sitting in the macro fire, Z-Talk will burn to death. Now the Phoenix Sun not really going to do too much except for keep everyone back. He will get a free Icarus dive out of the situation, however. It's not exactly the cleanest trade for UG, just a 1-for-1, and I'm pretty sure Sad Void's going to be pretty happy about that.
Yeah, going a lot better than it very well could have. Union Gaming do manage to farm up the Scotty for the Slark, and he's already back up to 1,000 gold on top of that. This Midas really paying off for the Slark, all things considered. But yeah, for the time being, Union Gaming are going to be slowed down, but only just. The Anti-Mage still has a long ways to go before he's really fight ready. He has the Yasha on top of his Battle Fury now, and another 1,000 gold on top of that, but Gex really needs to be where the Slark is at, and probably a little bit higher.
And he, at the very least, needs a Manta Style. Like, Yasha doesn't actually do anything right now. Manta Style will keep him safe from so many things from the UG side, but crucially, that Soul Burn of the Orchid. Benyaz is on the hunt right now. He's going to run straight into the March Machines, find Gexos, and Vengeful Spirit is going to whiff her missile, I believe. Paramore's going to jump into an Ice Path. They will set up with Macro Pyre. Paramore going to take a lot of damage right now, but has another Blink available and probably will be able to make it clean away. She will take a lot of damage over time, but it won't be lethal. They do teleport in both the Anti-Mage and Zap Brannigan, but UG get away with a clean 1-0 as they pick off, once again, the Vengeful Spirit.
Yeah, it seems like every time it's either the Venge or the Tinker, at least as far as these single pickoffs are concerned. Union Gaming have found themselves a little bit more momentum that they can start rolling with. Although these tier 2 towers are very hard to push into, the Tinker March of the Machines, even though the Tinker is super far behind, is still as annoying as ever.
Now, they have an item coming up in the Queen of Pain, though, that will help a little bit with that. The Lincolns won't exactly help them go into the March of the Machines, per se, but it will protect them, ideally, versus that Batrider Lasso. And if the Batrider isn't prepared or doesn't check the Queen of Pain's inventory, then a failed Blink Lasso initiation can very easily get him killed, and then from there on out, for UG, it should be just smooth sailing. So, Lincoln Sphere, pretty nice pickup in this situation when you're up against a Batrider.
At this point, Sad Voids know that Union Gaming did smoke up. Since the Queen of Pain revealed it in mid, the Jakiro was paying attention and ends up pinging that out, so I can only expect that's what happened. Gix will be forced to play a little bit more defensively for the time being, but the wraparound still works out. They'll blink in Lasso onto Paramore, but blink in for the Urshik with the Echo Slam, the Disruptor Static Field. They all burn in such a short duration of time. The Phoenix Sun's going to respawn Paox, and well, it looks like that's going to be about all she wrote. Everybody else survives, but my goodness, that teamfight combination for Union Gaming is nothing to shake a stick at.
You take a gif of that, put it in a textbook, and make everyone learn that. The 3-man Static Storm to set things up, and already if you land a 3-man Static Storm, you're probably going to be winning that fight unless you're massively far behind. But with the 3-man Echo Slam coming in, plus the Supernova, it was just all over for Sad Voids. Fortunately for Sad Voids, the Tinker and the Anti-Mage were not involved in that, so the heroes that they lost are heroes that they're kind of okay losing at this stage of the game. and UG do burn 3 ultimates in order to make that happen, but still it's a 3-0, and UG get away from that one very, very cleanly. A disgusting team fight combination from UG, and that's not exactly what their draft is designed to do, but it is one of the strengths of their draft.
Immediately after, Slark gonna take a tier 2 tower up towards top, and now has a Bastion flying out to him, and Union Gaming are not lacking pretty much in any way, shape, or form the items that they need to get through this portion of the game. We're working towards the Yule Scepter on the Disruptor, although that's going to be a pretty long time in coming. It's also a nice defensive item up against Sad Voids to stop rockets from hitting you, and also counter-initiating against Bat.
And they have a Rod of Atos coming up on the Phoenix as well. Not too sure how relevant that's going to be in this game up against the likes of a Blinking Anti-Mage, but hey, more money, more items. Doesn't really matter what you get as long as you're getting something. They're going to make a dive towards Dumpster. Fissure going to land, of course, setting up for that Sunray and a couple Fire Spirits as well. Payox is now awkwardly stuck on the wrong side of the Fissure, however. He has to go through the trees. He is going to be joined by Nightmare. Benya is going to join the fray, though, in a big way. Kill off the Jakiro, then go straight for Gexhaw. Stackstorm is there, and Zap Brannigan will not be able to rejoin the fight because of it. Nightmare will slip away with 60 HP, although I don't really know if he has a place to get out of here. Gix is going to jump forward, kill off the Disruptor. He doesn't have to worry about any CC right now, and he will chase forward for more Payox. Trying to retreat right now is going to be forced to Supernova for marginal amounts of damage. Benyaz is going to come in with Z-Talk, but it won't be time to save the Batrider, but Paramore comes in as well. Gix is going to die right now, silenced in the process of that fight. Now they're going to chase forward for Karuba. Fissure going to land. Benyaz unfortunately doesn't have enough. Oh, he does, even through the Fissure. He will get that kill as well. Tinker is the sole survivor of this fight, and UG with their mobility really making some things happen.
Yeah, definitely so. Even though the Phoenix dies that Supernova, forcing Sad Voids to focus it down if they wanted that kill is going to put them in a really bad position. And Benyaz, after the end of that fight with almost 20 Essence stacks, is going to be hitting very hard and fast. This Slark is doing a lot of work for Union Gaming, as are the rest of their heroes too.
And we just saw the impact of the Anti-Mage. It was pretty high. He was doing some decent damage, but it just wasn't high enough. You said that he had to be on top of the Slark's net worth, and well, it's nowhere close to being like that, as Slark is topping the Anti-Mage by 6,000 gold easy. And then with potentially an Aegis and Roshan golden experience going to be going his way, this Slark is pretty much guaranteed to do more than the Anti-Mage outside of the 4 or 5-man Mana Void, which is probably never going to happen. So UG are going to claim this Roshan, and they are going to be in more or less fighting shape to go for some sort of play once they do grab this Aegis. Tier 2 tower was pinged out previously, and I'm pretty sure it doesn't have long to live.
No, definitely not. I think Union Gaming are primed to make that move. Although they might wait for just a couple hundred gold until Slark has his Abyssal Blade, that's only going to be a couple hundred gold. He has that after one more camp. Actually, he has it now. Scratch that. He ends up selling the Aquila.
They saw Zap Brannigan for a little while. Fortunately for him, he's able to get out of there before he's in any real danger. But Abyssal Blade for the Slark. Already the Anti-Mage can't win these man fights versus Slark. Now there's actually no way for him to win these man fights. It's just not possible. And even to a lesser degree, Blink Abyssal is a way that UG can start a fight if they really want to. They are going to put all their pressure down towards bottom lane. Queen of Pain not in the area, nor is the Disruptor. But if they could kill off this Anti-Mage, then it's so worth it. Static Storm needs to be there. He is Thunderstruck up. He will Manta Style split, but the Glimpse is already there. He's going to get glimpsed right back into a Static Storm. Queen of Pain going to arrive with that Orchid. Sonic Wave, if necessary, will be used. And Anti-Mage going to take a fall. Trying to split push. He got the tower. I think he got the tower. Yeah, he got the tower, but at what cost? Way too expensive. Benyaz and Z-Talk down towards bottom in the meantime, applying some pressure to that tower. Benyaz, he's going to jump in for Gexhaus, annihilate the Vengeful Spirit so quickly, and Batrider, Jakiro can do nothing but watch. Benyaz has to make his retreat though, because it's only him and the Shaker. Blink forward, going to catch the Slark in the lasso, but Blink Echo going to be met in response. Karuba is going to take a fall right now. Benyaz still has the Aegis, and I don't really even know if he's going to use it right now. The Shaker gives his life for the Slark, but so worth it right now, because they can keep pushing this bottom lane, especially with Queen of Pain wrapping around from the side. Dumpster thinks he's safe. All of a sudden, double damage Queen of Pain, and he's dead. Benyaz also trying to get in there for that kill, but it's a 1 for 4 after all is said and done. This tower is going to fall at the very least. I think with the Anti-Mage down for another 20, they might have enough time to go for a secondary tier 2 if they decide to push with this Aegis still.
Yeah, and there's really no reason they shouldn't. They still have 3 minutes left on the duration of that item for the Slark, and well, tier 2 tower mid looks really easy to take. With the creeps already there, and with the tower already at about 300 HP, they could snag that in just a couple of hits from the Slark. or maybe they just decide to fall back and
Radiant's
get some
middle
farm out of the
tower is
enemy
under
woods.
attack.
Sad Voids really aren't super well equipped to defend against this at this point. The good news for them is that since their heroes are slightly lower level, they'll be back up and running, so Unity Gaming will be pushing into a full 5-man lineup.
But also UG with this Aghanim Scepter on Queen of Pain have pretty much 100% uptime on their ability to fight. Their cooldowns on their ultimates aren't really that long. It's the Shaker's one that is going to take the longest, but they don't even need the Shaker's ultimate for damage. They just want it as an additional stun. And I mean, you might as well wait for it if you can, but if they have to take a fight without the Echo Slam, it's not going to bother UG that much. They have such an advantage in this game, topping 20k, 25k in the experience even, and it doesn't seem like it's going to stop. What has this Tinker done in this game? I don't know if I could point to a guaranteed example of him actually doing things. This we questioned a little bit in the draft because he is such a rare hero, but UG have absolutely smashed this Tinker in the game.
Yeah, there really isn't any space for him to do anything. He's offered a little bit of spell pushing pressure and a little bit of tower defense, but really not much of merit. Ben has going to look for a bounce onto the anti-mage up towards top, can't connect with the Abyssal, a little too far away, and ends up getting all of his mana drained too. But Slark still holds on to the Aegis. He really loses nothing for trying for it.
Karuba in the middle lane in the meantime, chasing forward
Radiant's
for
middle
maybe
tower
a Shaker
has been
lasso.
denied.
They will eventually deny the mid lane tower for Sad Void, so finally something kind of good is going to happen for them. Don't even remember what the last good thing to happen was outside of that tower, because it's so far been UG controlling almost perfectly the pace of this game. But their Anti-Mage is slowly starting to get there. Once he picks up Heart and another item, then he will be able to easily go in these fights. But I don't know if he's going to get that Heart because Queen of Pain is incoming, has that Orchid. Gix is going to have to Man-Style out. He will put a lot of damage into the Queen of Pain. Both of them will blink out at the same time, though, making it a 0-kill trade. Although Zap Renegade going to blink straight into an Earthshaker. There is a swap out. Gexhaus going to give his life probably so that his ally can survive. Echo Slam is there. Gexhaus still surviving for a little while longer, but he won't survive in total. Phoenix is going to be brought down in trade in the meantime as Paramore jumps in for a little bit of damage onto some heroes, but not enough to actually force everyone from Sad Void's back. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Sad Void's going to be happy to make that one, especially if they get a little bit more. Chasing forward for Nightmare. Fissure is going to save the Disruptor for a little while longer. Static Storm plus Orchid is there. Gix no longer has Match Style. He will get it soon enough, though, and he will be fine to get out of there or continue to fight. Nightmare is going to be a casualty right now as Paramore trying to line up a Sonic Wave. Will land it onto 3, killing off the Jakiro. Zitok going to jump in. Suddenly he's out of mana. He will take a very quick dive. Gix and Karuba both going to survive. Slark in the meantime pushing up top lane, but he's so desperately needed in this fight. Karuba is going to be another casualty, though, as Paramore is able to chase forward with that Shadow Strike. He'll draw himself a double, and I think that was an even fight in the end, but Benyes, if he was there, I don't see Sad Voids getting much of anything.
No. Blinking from the Queen of Pain, not going to end up netting her anything, but yeah, the Slark was really slow in coming to that fight. He was trying his best to split push, but as scary as Ben has is in putting damage on the enemy heroes, his tower damage is pretty limited. He's going to drop the tier 3 tower very low, blink forward by the anti-mage just to clean up the creep wave. There's no way you're killing off this Slark.
And you got to be careful because at a certain point, if you blink too far, the Slark can very easily kill you. Just with one Abyssal usage and then a Lucky Bash, Gix is going to run straight into the Slark. And he's going to Manta Style out. Benyes is going to turn and man fight. This one is not going to have that much mana to work with. Doesn't get the bashes that it really wants, but Gix blinks right into the Queen of Pain. Sonic Wave combo with that Orchid just in case the Anti-Mage survived, and now he's down for 75 seconds. Zap Renegade is looking like a pretty tasty target over in mid. If they take the Tinker out, then it's for sure going to be Rax's for UG, but they kill off the Anti-Mage, and Anti-Mage, there's so much pressure applied to him in this game from his own team and from the enemies that if he dies a single time, it's just so much time that he really can't afford to be not farming.
No, you really can't. Queen of Pain going to mop up the creep wave. Whoa.
I didn't notice that. She has a Blink Dagger.
Oh! Yeah, she does.
That hurt.
Oh,
When you're balling out of control, man, you get whatever you want. They never expect the double blink.
it does increase your initiation range to the levels of absurd, though. With an 1800 range blink and then another 1200 range blink, that's 3000 range. That's pretty much a screen and a half.
Yeah, it's probably just going to be so that she could test the waters more so than anything, but they're going to get a lasso or initiation onto Karuba. Supernova is there. Nobody's focusing it just yet. Karuba is going to be focused on by Benyes in the meantime, making it a 1 kill so far. For the Phoenix ultimate and the Static Storm, not exactly ideal, but if they take Rax's, then it's going to be worth it. Blink forward from Paramore. Going to get chain stunned up. Ice Path is there with Magic Missile, but he will have a quick blink out. The Queen of Pain is going to survive. Benyaz turning his focus towards the Raxes as Nightmare does drop low. Phoenix is doing his best to zone everyone out. It looks like it's good enough as Slark does take down those Raxes. Going to get support from Z-Tox, Echo Slam as well. Dumpster going to take a fall right now. Gexos is going to try to save his ally, but he will die in response. It's melee Rax for UG plus a whole slew of kills plus a buyback from that bat. Z-Tox even going to survive for a little while longer. Slark, he was, okay, blinked out of there, but UG, they lose absolutely nothing there, and they take Raxes. Or Rax, I guess.
The Earthshaker even makes it out after that, too. Gex not able to catch him before he's able to TP out. It's the important Rax, however, and eventually this range barrack should end up falling. Even if they don't get it, Union Gaming get a favorable trade when it comes to the kills, and they force out a buyback on the Batrider. It really feels like this game is pretty much smooth sailing for them. Their Slark is 10,000 gold ahead of the Anti-Mage. Queen of Pain 6,000 to 8,000 ahead of the Anti-Mage, and really he needs to be at the top of the world when it comes to that department. Anti-Mage is a hero, functions because he gets items faster than the enemy cores, and that's just not the case this game.
And Anti-Mage is even though he is 10,000 behind the Slark, he's 100% obligated to hold gold for buyback. If they don't have all their heroes Sad Voids, then there's no chance they're going to defend. So this Anti-Mage absolutely has to have buyback. Whereas for the Slark, if he dies, the crackback for Sad Voids, unless, you know, it's a complete 5-man wipe towards, or for Sad Voids and UG have no one alive, the crackback with no Slark, Sad Voids can only take like a tier 2 at most, or a tier 1 and a tier 2 at most. So Benyaz can actually spend all of his gold. He doesn't have to be sitting on a huge pile of cash, whereas the Anti-Mage does. So that kind of artificially increases Benyaz's gold lead to just a little bit more.
Refresher Orb for the Queen of Pain is incredibly scary for Sad Voids. The double Sonic Wave in and of itself is going to be doing an absurd amount of damage. The Vengeful Spirit is going to instantly die to that, and if not instantly, very close to it, as is the Tinker, and even the Anti-Mage to a lesser extent. He'll be left with only 700 HP or so, and we might see that. Oh, no, Blink Sonic Wave, just clear out the Creep Wave. With Aghanim Scepter, you can't afford to do that.
Might as well give everyone a great scare while you're at it. For Sad Voids, they still have the initiation power. They still have some pretty insane base defense power with this Tinker, but it just seems like they're not able to make any of that happen right now. What they need is this Tinker to grab a Sheep Stick. That is not going to instantly bail them out of all the problems they're having right now, but it will definitely help. If you're looking towards killing off this Queen of Pain, then that can bust the fight wide open. Hexing the Slark a little bit more difficult because he does have still a 9-second BKB, but a Sheep Stick on Tinker will be such a lifesaver. The Anti-Mage getting a Basher more or less out of necessity is going to help him duel the Slark, but still he can't really do it. He's just not tanky enough to withstand the rest of the team's punishment while he is trying to 1v1 the Slark. Or he probably won't even be able to kill the Slark 1v1, just the two of them.
No, especially not with the Butterfly, and in Aegis now. For the Slark, he's pretty much completely capped out. His Courier is just casually holding onto his BKB for when he comes back up. We'll have to see how good the micro is and if this Courier actually survives throughout the fights, but even without it, the Slark is dishing a lot of damage and can take a lot of punishment too. Sad Voids need pretty much everything to land correctly in order to kill him once, let alone twice.
Well, Gix is doing his best to split push right now, but I don't think he's going to have that much time. Firefly is on the floor. Benyaz is going to bypass any potential March of the Machine's layers as Payox does jump right in for a Supernova. Sonic Wave through, going to bring the Jakiro very low. Batrider will survive for a little while longer, but not much more. Double Sonic Wave going to get the rest of the kills there as Benyaz is the only one to drop low on UG. They have someone in the corner. It's Gix, and he's going to get hit with everything in the kitchen sink. He's going to have to buy back straight away. Gix is up against one too many heroes, however, as Paramore and Benyaz go for the Tinker. Now it's only Gix, and I guess Tinker now that he bought back, but UG, they're essentially fountain camping at this point because they don't have anything to fear. They demolish Sad Voids. They drop low on one hero, and that's it.
Yeah, oh, Lucky Bash on a Paramore. They'll get the Queen of Pain at the end of that. That's a beyond godlike for the Tinker, but I don't think it matters much at all. If they lose these barracks and Queen of Pain instantly going to buy back, she doesn't have boots of travel or the gold to buy it, but she'll be back close enough anyway. With the double blink, she's already halfway there. Jump in, looking for the Mana Void. Gix not going to find it. He gets bashed out by the Slark. That's a death onto the Anti-Mage and a dieback too. I think for all intents and purposes, that's GG.
Well, they're going to take out the Aegis. That's kind of step one, but here comes Paramore one more time. Sonic Wave again as Zap Brannigan. It seems like she always has a Sonic Wave to throw. Gexos and Dumpster, they're also going to be on the it's just all over. They are going to get cleaned up. No more buybacks. They've used it all. UG, it was a pretty methodical game. Got a little bit ahead with their lanes, and then there was just nothing that the Sad Voids team can do about it. The Tinker didn't do anything, and gotta say, if they pick a little bit more standard, I want to say, a little bit safer, we could have seen a much different game.
Yeah, it really did feel like it though. Sad Voids, their lineup was harder to execute, and Uni Gaming really didn't give them any opportunities to find that room. Slark ending the game with 835 GPM, Queen of Pain also completely balling out of control. It looked really good. We'll have to see how this series ends up rounding out. However, Sad Voids still have a chance.
Alright guys, it is a best of 3, and as Grandis said, we'll see if Sad Voids can bring it back in Game 2, which will be coming up in just a little while. So don't go anywhere guys, best of 3 between Uni Gaming and Sad Voids will continue in just a little bit.